Hello, my swanlings, and welcome to another Berry World stream. Yes, I say that just casually now. There's no excuse. It's fine, guys. Shh, it's okay. It's okay. We're doing Berry World. Yeah. God, there are already like 9 of you. Welcome. Hi, Ven, I see you. Hi, Demi. Demi, thank you for following. I saw that. My own voice freaks me out now these days because I've changed the, like, sounds that those give. God, the screech. Thank you for... I'm dying. The bits? Yes, that's the bit one. Thank you. I'm perishing. Thank you, I appreciate you. Did I say hi to everyone? Hi, Justin. Hi, Stacy. Hi, Ghosty. Okay, I think I said hi to you all. If I didn't, I'm sorry. I adore you all. But I think it's time that we get into character, because we have a pretty interesting thing planned for you today, I think. So, oh, they got ads. Oh shit, I should probably wait for that. I don't know how ads work on Twitch yet. So chat, can you see Minecraft, or are you still in ad hell? Okay. I'll assume everyone's fine then. Alrighty. They should probably be waiting for us down at the Oasis.
I suppose so.
If they got my message, at least. I hate the fact. I don't know. I don't like looking at the wreckage of that place. I'm going the wrong direction.
Over here. Gonna have to hop over this chest a bit. Can't necessarily avoid that destruction every time I walk over here, so I have to take a long, good look at it.
It's a reminder of what happened.
It's also a reminder of what I'm gonna do.
I hate the fact that most of the events that we've had here are pretty much tainted by, well, I guess that damn insurgency.
Well, that's what you get when you decide to, well, make your own decisions.
Yeah, you'd think some people would have the sense to let people enjoy their lives at the very least, though.
That's not how it works, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, indeed.
It's so quiet around here.
Well, at least there's some bit of life. I think I spotted Miles over there.
I wonder how he's holding up.
Hope it's alright. I mean, he wasn't at that meeting, so...
Kind of glad he wasn't. Wouldn't want him to relive that trauma.
That makes sense, frankly.
Oh, hi. Sorry.
Hey there.
Just feeding my little doggos.
You've got my message alright. Right?
Sorry. It's been a crazy couple of days.
Yeah. Sorry for asking for, I guess, you know, a serious discussion and everything after all that's happened to you. You just seemed interested in helping discuss laws and all that.
Yeah, after what happened, I kind of decided I wanted to be more involved in that sort of thing since I want to make sure that nothing like this happens again to anyone else and make sure that justice is served.
Mighty good
Looks
motivation.
like we're all on the same page.
Oh, yes, definitely. But yeah, you guys have a safe travel over here?
I mean, as safe as it could be. I mean, there's still those monsters and stuff out and about, but Justin and I are fairly well equipped to take care of ourselves.
Nothing
good.
too hard for us to handle.
Well, that's good. Yeah, this place is always filled with monsters.
How are the
You have to
villagers
be very
doing?
careful. Well, as you probably saw, the fires have finally been put out. They're still in the tents right now, but from what I've been hearing, they're getting better every day.
I'm glad. No
Yeah,
one's died of their injuries or anything?
No one's died, thankfully. We had some aloe vera cream lying around, and made sure we gave it to whoever needed it over there ahead of time, and it kind of made things a little bit easier for the medical team over there.
Yeah. At least we, I guess, got lucky in that department.
Yeah.
Why, of course. If fatalities were on the chart, then, well, there wouldn't be any reason for us to not respond.
Yeah. Anyways, would you guys like to go take a seat somewhere real quick?
I mean, I don't exactly have any plans for where we should all talk. I don't exactly know the layout of this place like the back of my hand, so it's your suggestion.
All right. Well, I think Asia's around here somewhere. They've been helping me out today, Asia and Allie. So, oh, there's Asia over there.
I mean, I did contact those two fellas as well, because, I mean, this, I
Yeah.
guess, is the group that's going to be discussing things.
Yep. I'm gonna go run and grab Allie real quick, and then
Alrighty.
we'll get everyone together and we'll go find a spot.
Hey, Swanson.
Hey there.
Asia, been a bit
Yes.
since we've talked to each other.
Yeah, it's been a while.
You don't have to be so distant, fella. You're standing halfway across the
Yeah.
room.
Sorry.
I guess everybody has their own amount of distance since everything's going on.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
hasn't been much moments of peace, has there?
Well, if you want peace, prepare for war. That's what they usually say.
A statement I wish wasn't so true.
I wish it wasn't true either, but it's accurate.
Sacrifices must be made to get to the point where the world can live peacefully. I guess it should have been expected, considering everything, I guess, restarted, in a sense, whatever you want to call it. The new world and everything.
Speaking of that, Swanson,
Yeah,
I submitted those pieces of evidence to Project Genesis.
I'm glad. I hope they can get something out of it.
Well, we've already made some sort of connection.
Oh?
You'll just have to see for yourself when we make it public.
Alrighty. Guess I'll wait patiently then.
Shouldn't take too long.
Well, hello.
Greetings there, Allie. Been a bit.
Yeah, you did contact me on Asia to
Yeah.
pause. And I see you're here too, Justin.
Sorry, it was a bit of a last minute kind of thing. I mean, it made sense to include Justin. I should have done it from the start and informed y'all, but a little bit late considering I already sent out a message.
It's no worries. It was just surprising. If I would have known we had another person, I would have prepared more snacks.
I mean, makes sense for the fellow to come. He kind of is a part of the government and part of laws and all that kind of stuff.
Well, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you too. How are you
Yeah.
feeling?
Fine. I'm feeling fine. Just been working and also making plushies for friends.
Interesting hobby to pick up, but I see your reasoning.
I would. We can go downstairs to discuss the meeting if you would like.
Do you have a kind of, I guess, more private setting down there?
We have
Because
my manager's office, if that would be okay.
if that can house us all, then that sounds mighty perfect.
We
Yeah.
can give it a shot. No one's at the inn right now, so regardless, it's gonna be
Yeah,
pretty quiet.
You never know what fellas decide they might want to try to listen in.
Sheriff Swanson, I would like to talk to you for a second though before we begin. You guys get comfortable here, and sorry about the guard dogs in here.
Dogs are kind
Tis
of always a
alright.
plus. Alrighty, fella.
We'll be right back.
Yeah, sorry, these guys like to sit down.
What's up?
Him.
Oh. I may have not kind of... It's not that I forgot, it's more of... Don't have much of a choice. Think about it, fella. I only got permission to try to make these laws and present them because of Justin and the Empress and all them. It makes sense they'd want to oversee the proceedings and the discussions.
I'm just not fully. I wasn't prepared, and like I was prepared at the meeting, but this was.
I know. I wish I had a moment to warn you, but I kind of forgot in all my thinking about getting together a group of people interested in talking about laws that I kind of forgot that, well, I needed to inform Justin, and by the time I'd remembered, it was a little too late to send a warning. But hey, maybe you can use this as an opportunity to try to face your fears a bit. I'm sorry it couldn't necessarily be by your own choice. It should have been. It wasn't right of me to bring you into a situation where you didn't get that choice.
No. It's okay. Besides, this meeting we're having here is more important than my needs at the moment. We need to focus on that with making the rules and laws.
I suppose. In any case, if it gets too much, I'm sure you can find some excuse, or some excuse can be made to either cut the meeting short or, do what you need to get yourself out, alright? Take it slow.
Okay.
I appreciate your ideas on this. You're bright, and, you have them on for this kind of thing, but, you ain't gonna be at your best if you're worried about all this.
Yeah. So, we should probably...
Let's get back in there and do this.
I'm prepared. I'm prepared.
I believe in you, fella. You're pretty strong,
All the training I've been taking, it's helping a little bit. Just gotta remember that.
Yeah.
Sorry for the wait. Just have to talk to Sheriff Swanson for a little bit.
Alrighty. This is a pretty spacious office.
Yeah, it's a bit too big in my perspective. Miles insisted.
I mean, hey, room is fine.
I'm sorry we didn't have much chairs, but I hope the couch is comfy.
I don't mind standing or anything like that. You have dogs. I know you
Yeah,
did.
I got tons of them.
This
Oh,
is,
the fellas.
I mean, this was on Dogeland, so this island's full of dogs.
That is a fair point.
I have more
quite the fair point.
These are just Miles's dogs. My dogs are still at the barn.
Yeah, when we were building this place, I kept finding a new dog every 5 minutes, so I was like,
In
it was
any
probably a
case,
sign.
We all know why we're here. We know what happened with the fire. We know all of that.
Yes.
And we need to make sure that we got some laws to ensure that, well, there's a proper thing in place to punish those that decide that they want to, commit things we know are wrong from the old world. So we're here to discuss stuff today, folks.
Awesome.
I've been doing a bit of thinking, of course, in preparation for this meeting, and I've come up with some potential structure. You know how in the old world we had or at least in America, we had levels of government, you could say. There was, the big government, all that stuff, and then there was state, government, that kind of stuff. We don't necessarily, at least to my knowledge, go by states anymore. Not necessarily. We more so have stuff by towns, I guess you could say. So I kind of had a thought of, what if, we have, of course, government laws, and that's, made by the New World Order. It's the highest kind of level of rule. But then we also have what I'll call town rules. These rules are pretty much kind of like laws, but they're not laws in the sense that, well, rules more so kind of bend laws a bit, some of them. They're individual things made by the town leaders that kind of can sometimes get a bit around laws. I'm saying this in the worst way possible, hold on.
No, it's fine.
For, I
We
guess,
understand.
some example of what I mean. Say, obviously, we'd probably at some point establish a clear law against murder, Obviously, right?
Mhm. Yes.
Say, for talent peaks, one kind of concept of what I'd say a rule is that kind of duels to the death, so long as they are supervised by myself, those are technically legal. That would be a rule, since it kind of adjusts that law while you're inside the town. These rules could be, of course, if one of them was in violation of absolutely overturning, say, a vital law, like if some place tried to claim a town rule as murder is legal, obviously that's kind of no. So that kind of thing would be put under review and declared as a rule that would be illegal to have. So in this way, we have laws, and then we have town rules. Although, now I think about it, I guess in the talk of laws, we do kind of need to be thinking about war, considering that seems to be where we're heading, as much as I don't want to think about it. If rules can kind of bend laws, I think for wartime we should also probably have something that can adjust laws. What if we had something like, I guess, a wartime order? They'd be like pre-established laws that only come into effect when we're in a state of war. I know I just said a whole lot, but what do y'all think about that kind of sort of system?
I mean, it is logical to have that kind.
It's
Right?
true. It is true. Yeah, it makes some sense.
In this way, we could kind of, I guess, categorize what we end up discussing.
Yeah. I mean, we have those types of idea plan that from that last meeting with the council.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be wise to have something like that. And
I guess, I don't know. The level of government that we have has to change, obviously. I mean, we don't quite, at least on the America side of things, we don't quite got states anymore. We don't have state governments. We'd have to establish that if we wanted a state level. So I guess it makes sense to go from government level then to town. And then just put something in place in case, something needs to be changed for wartime. I don't necessarily like the idea of martial law, I guess. I mean, at times it's necessary, but...
I mean, yeah. Can I suggest something?
The floor's yours.
I've been thinking lately, and for what I can suggest, how about we altered something? Like, the thing I was like thinking of altering how it goes? The Bill of
Bill of
The
Rights?
Bill of Rights.
Yes. I was thinking about altering that. Basically, like, how people have their own opinions on what laws and what other things they can do, we can add on, or what we can use. I've been thinking that maybe since it's even though it is our job to think about and discuss, but I've been thinking what would maybe gather some feedback on others.
So you think we should gather some feedback from other folks and attempt to develop our own take, I guess, on a Bill of Rights? So we give each and every person kind of a set of rights that can't be taken away?
It's I would think it's like normally fair and have everyone's opinion on it. That way no one else will feel left out.
We can,
it.
I guess, gather opinions and then come back together and discuss them. Do we all like the sound of that? I mean, I'm all for, I guess, human
not
rights and all
objecting.
that.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, it makes sense. It follows.
I mean,
what
after all,
sometimes-
that's what our motto is.
Yeah.
Especially the New World
Yeah.
Order. That's what we're trying to do. but I guess some people are too ignorant to see it, so I'm all for this idea.
It's unfortunate, but hopefully a clear establishment of some laws will restore some faith in the New World Order.
Mm-hmm.
With a system so broken like ours, it's good that we're having these talks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So-
I suggest
Hmm?
that we have some type of like medical assistance thing, like let me think, some like that helps pay for like those that can't afford like some medical care, because I know that we have those tents near the fire. I imagine those I guess getting taken care of might cost a little much for them.
So you're suggesting that we, I guess, kind of think on, I guess, a sort of, I really don't know what to call it other than medical assistance, actually.
Medical
If
sure.
someone can't really pay for something, we form some kind of assistant system to make sure they can at least get their basic needs met, that kind of thing.
Yeah, something to help them.
I guess
I
that
mean,
kind of
that-
sounds like an add-on to Pandora's Law if we think about it. Because Pandora's Law, in a sense, is kind of like welfare. It just doesn't necessarily provide medical, I don't think.
Well, as of right now, there isn't really a very big medical industry, I must say. All of our medical supplies has been paid and brought in by the villagers because, well, they were here first, unfortunately, and we weren't. But their advancements go as far as basic medical needs. I currently have some researchers currently developing some new medicines, but as of right now, we have to rely on what we have with them. And, well, of course, the government is the one that has the most money, so.
I guess we could form a system where some of our taxes then gets siphoned to pay for if someone really can't afford medical treatment. They at least, hopefully they won't die from the fact they can't afford it.
So, medical insurance?
I guess so, yeah. I don't really know terribly much about that kind of field, I guess. Perhaps we could put that aside for now and think more on it later, unless anyone kind of knows a bit about that kind of stuff. We could potentially
Insurance
actually...
and money is a bit of a tedious topic. It's definitely something more grounded for the regular government. It's not necessarily laws, it's more insurance for people's coverages.
I see. So I guess that would be more something we hand over to you directly then.
It's not too much of a problem. I can write in an order for it.
Alrighty.
I mean, Asia, you're part of the New World Order, so you can bring
Yeah.
that up there as well, and we can discuss more about it, because I am intrigued at the thought, obviously. Our medical supply thing is, well, I wouldn't necessarily call it something. I'd just call it a thing, like I said. It's not the best, but it's not the worst.
The thought of those villagers, if any of them really, I guess, couldn't get access to care.
It
I
really
think we owe
does.
it to them.
It really does break my heart to see him
Yeah.
like that.
This kind of system, though, would guarantee that no one, hopefully, would go without. Not that anyone has yet, but for future circumstances.
Why, of course. The villagers have devoted their lives to us because we saved them from the wicked illagers. So, of course, if they're going to pay us in their services, we have to pay them back somehow.
That was a good idea there, Asia. Honestly, I kind of
Yes.
forgot about that side of things.
Yeah, so I better be careful than ever.
Great job, Asia.
Just thinking about all of these laws is making me think about neutral zones, like this
Oh, yeah.
place.
Oh yeah, that's right. The
What
neutral
about
zone.
neutral zones exactly? I mean,
I'm thinking that neutral zones themselves need to have like set laws and regulations so that people have to follow. I mean, they're going to be a little bit different, obviously, than what you'd expect out in like other towns and areas. But I feel like there needs to be something for like areas like this in general that people have to follow.
I mean, I guess what you're saying kind of makes sense, because currently, I mean, there technically are rules established, but I guess they aren't necessarily enforced by any official laws or anything. So it's kind of
You know-
just, hey, we'll enforce them if we can, but there's nothing official yet.
We don't
Exactly.
want people breaking them, because if it's not like full on official, then they'll just think that they can just break it. And
Yeah.
all that.
technically it doesn't carry the weight that it needs to.
It doesn't just
Exactly.
fall under the fact that people will break rules. It's more under the fact that there's no one to enforce them with. We're all just individual people with individual skill sets.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with the Oasis is not because of the fact that it was easy to break into, but it was easy to get around.
Mm-hmm.
The insurgency targeted this place because, well, again, it was easier to get around. It's the right place, the right time, opportunity to strike, and, well, unfortunately, with everybody being so busy with a fire, that was their getaway plan.
And
We wouldn't have this problem if we had some sort of authority that was around watching this place 24/7, so I made a deal with Miles over there to provide that kind of protection.
we have to think of other neutral zones, though. I mean, with the general neutral zone, no one really is allowed to, I guess, carry weapons. So,
But who's gonna be the one to kick out the person that does pull the sword out on you?
there would need to be guards then for that, as you said, with your deal. But how necessarily can we guarantee that for other neutral zones? Miles, do you have any, I guess, you brought up the idea of neutral zones. Do you have any, I guess, thoughts?
I mean, in general, the original idea I had, but I'm not sure how it would work out, is like have people just in general not have weapons and like at all at this point.
We do need some way, though, for some people to have weapons.
Oh, I might have one.
Oh?
Maybe it'd be something like for like a pass for certain people. Think like an official pass, and it's like different than a government pass permit. Like for example, since Miles is the head of Spirit Oasis in this neutral zone, he's able to give out the passes, and who he can trust could be able to have be able to permit them to have the weapons, like say like a royal guard.
So people,
Or
I guess,
anyone who
Miles
could-
decides he wants to guard the place. He could give this permit you're talking about too?
Mm-hmm. While the government permit only works on the outside of neutral zone,
Wait,
which is very
outside the neutral
different
zone?
than.
Why would we need a permit for outside the
I-
neutral
I-
zone?
Or was it something different?
I think that what you're probably thinking about is having one for government inside of the zone that only
Yeah.
lasts for their stay. I think that's what you're thinking about.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not very good with these kinds of topics.
No, it's
So,
all right.
I
It's
think-
all right. It got me confused too at first.
Sorry.
I think I get it. So what you're trying to say is that Miles, as the owner of this neutral zone, and this would follow for any, I guess, owner of a neutral zone, he can give out a sort of official pass that allows whoever he gives it to, I guess, carry a weapon. But I guess since, say, a government official were to come along or something, you know, who's going to protect them, per se? If, I mean, say that official ain't allowed to carry weapons, what are they gonna do? They still need protection, they're a high-profile target. So to avoid you having to, I guess, provide a guard that could backstab them, the official is allowed to give, I guess, a government pass to maybe some royal guards or someone that are then trusted to protect the official. But you said something
Yep.
about those potentially expiring, so I guess those would last for duration of visit, then? So that way government officials are protected inside neutral zones, and then you can still, I guess, the owners of the neutral zone can, like, hire guards and stuff like that and make sure they can carry their weapons legally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, glad to have understood.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not used to this kind of thing, so this is all new for me. So
It's all good.
thank you, Miles.
I can pick up what
helping
you're
me.
trying to say. I've known you long enough to kind of realize where you were going with that.
I mean, we
Yeah,
all
thank you.
lived fairly, I guess, more average lives before all this, although I guess,
Yeah.
I mean, not all of us have experience with laws in the old world.
Yeah, the main reason for the expiration on those as well is just to make sure that no one abuses them after the fact as well. So
Oh,
that's just the main reason why I like it.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. So, with the normal permits, then, when would they necessarily expire? Would there be any chance that they could? Would they be like, I guess, just revocable?
Yeah, I would say probably so. That's probably the best way to do it. Whoever gave them should just be able to revoke them at any time.
I see.
Because you never know who, like, you never know if, like, and just as an example, allegiances change and everything like that. You don't want someone to have them and run off with them when you can just revoke it and, make sure that they can't abuse that, previous affiliation to get around with the weapon.
That kind of sounds familiar as an item go bad, like a expiration.
I think this sounds like a pretty good balance of power, at least to me. That means that the owner of the neutral zone can enforce things, but if things get out of hand, the government also technically has a way to get in. But also, that still means that, just in case, the neutral zone also can ensure, its priorities are kept safe too. I think it's a pretty good balance of power.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. I mean, since we're talking about saving and stuff, one idea is that with arresting and stuff, since it's a neutral zone, obviously individuals can't be arrested for a lot of the outside crimes, but you can be arrested here, but when you exit outside of this neutral zone, they can technically still be arrested, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, that was kind of, I guess, already a semi-established rule of thumb, rule. But making it official is a great idea.
It needs to be.
Although, I think, a step further. So, obviously it would make sense if a fellow could be arrested for a crime they commit inside the neutral zone. Keep in order and all that. So then, say, what do you do from that point? Because say this person, that's committed a crime, they get sent to court, right? They are tried for their crime. But let's say that person also has committed crimes outside of the neutral zone. I propose that first the neutral zone crime is tried for, and then after that, the other crimes kind of follow. As a kind of, I guess you could call it order of operations. I really am just being reminded of PEMDAS from math, but
I get what you're saying, though.
On top of that, though, that law, it makes sense for a neutral zone, right? Neutral zones are intended to be neutral for a reason. But, I mean, during a wartime, that can be pretty difficult. So I actually have my first suggestion of an order, which essentially, again, are things that would kind of adapt laws during a wartime situation, an officially declared one. So, what if, let's use Spirited Oasis again as an example. Let's say, Sky, or one of them fellas, they decide to come in here, right? Miles, as the authority, as soon as, word gets back and they take notice, they have to then alert the government. If there's a big criminal like that running around in a neutral zone, the government should be alerted. So then, we technically can hopefully get there in time to catch them as they exit. So that way, hopefully, we still can manage to catch them. It's essentially a requirement of alerting folks.
I mean, that would be helpful.
Yeah.
It would be helpful, but it can also be exploited.
How so?
Well, what's stopping them from staying and not exiting the grounds of the neutral zone? Then what do? We can't exactly enter in unless we're given the absolute authority, but,
That's true, but also that does trap them there. They'll have to try to leave at some point, or they can't get back to whatever plans they have doing. It corners them. They'll have to make a run for it at some point. I guess you could consider it as kind of a stakeout.
They could stay there. But what does that spell for the jurisdiction that's here? I mean, Miles, it is your land, it's your jurisdiction. You can choose to do whatever you want with them. You could lock them up, you could try them, you can give them to us. It's all up to you. You have your own jurisdiction, and, well, I can't exactly overrule that decision.
That's true.
And, well, if we're using the insurgency as an example, those are real-world criminals. 180 Emerald Block bounty for several of them that have committed acts of terrorism. I'm sure you know what decision you would want to make.
In all technicality, if they were to show up here again, Dogeland technically is part of Spirited Oasis in some sort of sense. So technically they did kind of do something on my territory.
You have grounds to arrest them for a crime, then.
I do, yeah. I don't.
Precisely. You don't just have the grounds to arrest them, but you have the grounds to make your own court system, try them through your court, and then after you're done with them, then they get handed to us. Because, well, they're not exactly just criminals of war to you, but they're criminals of war to everyone.
Exactly. That's something I gotta think about then for the future.
It all boils down to what Swanson said before. There's the new United Nations, the New World Order, as we call it, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
which is the main government that oversees everything. And then there's the state governments, which I guess we can call colony governments, because, well, we don't exactly go by states. There's nothing but colonies and faction bases now. So, when it all boils down to colonies, they have their own set of rules, own set of jurisdictions, and they have their own set of court systems. But if it has anything to do with the multiple offenses that are outside of it, then that gets brought up to the New World Order, the Supreme Court,
I see.
if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's how they used to do it back in the old world. Granted, the United States government had its three branches of power: the executive, legislative, and judicial. But, you know, the states also had their own governments. Cities had their own governments, even towns. It was all up to their jurisdiction, but obviously they had someone to watch over them. Certain places can make certain things legal that other places would make illegal, but the only thing we need to do to step in is, I'd say, to abolish any attempts to make laws of possible anarchy, treason, and other horrific crimes. You can't exactly open up a colony and say murder is legal there without the government wanting to
Yeah, of
talk to
course.
you about that, I'd say.
Yeah.
It's true.
This is all very intriguing to talk about. This is exactly what the founding fathers had to talk about. This is exactly what our old governments had to talk about. It's not exactly easy, but has to be done either way.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's got to keep this world in check. And I sure as hell know it's not going to be the rebels.
Yeah. We do have, I mean, we don't have that many people, though. Like, left, I guess you could say. Doesn't feel like there's enough people left to form legitimate, tinier governments, I guess. I mean, like, for court systems and all that within individual towns, I mean, do we even got the people to run them?
Well, it's a matter of taking something and replacing it with something if it comes to necessary resorts. You see, when Dynasty was, well, taken by the New World Order, someone had to run it. So we gave the jurisdiction to one of our loyal members. And while our production is back in business, we may not have the support, but we have the numbers. In fact, we have loads of eyes watching us. And we have lots and lots of numbers to basically throw at, but it's not exactly the most, I'd say, clean method of operation.
I see.
There's a reason I have a personal army. Devotion, loyalty, courage. It drives a lot of people, and, well, I wouldn't say we benefited from the fire, but I definitely say the fire definitely woke up a lot of people that wanted to help us out, so just because one town doesn't have a leader that's supportive doesn't mean we can't replace them with another.
I suppose what I'm trying to say, I guess, about a system of courts is I don't necessarily know if we should have, like, a lot of separate ones. I guess, let me just pitch my kind of thoughts here, and we can see if it's ludicrous or not.
All right.
So we had, of course, in the old world, at least in America, of course, different levels of the court system. You know, eventually, if you went up high enough, you'd get to the Supreme Court, which is pretty much, I guess, you know, as direct government as you could get. my kind of thought is that that's what we got. We have, technically, I guess, two, but I'll get to that later. We have, I guess, the level of a Supreme Court. I'd say we maybe adjust the format a bit, kind of, I guess, get rid of the jury and simply have 3 judges. So you need a 2/3 kind of vote to get something, ruled on. And pretty much any criminal arrested would be tried through that court. We don't have too many people left in this world, the number's greatly diminished. So I feel like technically that court should be capable of handling all of the things that we need it to handle. And if we ever need more, we technically could just make another court on that same level. It all runs by the same laws, the same rules. We keep it just in those hands. Because I feel like it honestly gets too messy if it passes through far too many hands. The second court that I mentioned, I say court, but I don't know if it necessarily fully qualifies. I'll call it the review court. I more so think of it as the court that would handle, say, town rules, as I called them. They would process rules, say, if, of course, again, bringing the reference of if someone decided to say, in my town you can murder people, that would obviously be sent in for review and denied as a rule that's legal. They would just exist to do that. Although, I suppose, to keep this supposed Supreme Court in check, that review court should probably be able to review the judges that rule on that court, the 3. And if one judge is deemed to be biased, or have been bribed or some sort of thing, any ruling where they were in the majority, they got something passed, in other words, that should be overturned and brought back to the court again for a second judgment. Although, I guess for the review court, I'm not certain if I'd want to call the judges their judges. And I suppose Supreme Court's a bit weird for our times now. They could, I guess, use new names.
Names for these 2. I might have a name for one of them, at least.
Bitch it.
But I don't know. Does anyone else have names before I present mine?
Floor is all yours.
I have a suggestion. How about we call it Court of the New World, or for short, like in abbreviation, some CNW, or we call it Bean Court.
Did you just suggest we call it Bean Court because its location would likely be Beantopia?
I mean, it is in Beantopia, so... Well, that's actually pretty cute if you think about it.
I'm slightly fond of that idea.
I mean, anyway. I'm sorry.
As long as there is a name present, I don't really care what we call it. As long as it's not offensive.
I actually do have an idea for the review court. I don't know why I thought of this. I think it was on the top of my head. Why don't we call it the overseers? Because you're technically examining the rules and getting minor testimonies. They're kind of like, like a pair of eyes and ears or like that. And I thought of overseers at the top of my head.
I guess so. I guess that kind of job would be more working in the shadows a little bit more. You go out, you get testimonies to rule on various town rules to see, if they need to be denied or not. And then, if required, they examine the judges of the Bean Court.
But yeah, it's a name. Yeah.
I mean,
okay, so the overseers.
I mean, it sounds kind of nice if you say it.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm alright with it.
Nice.
I just like the idea better of, I guess, the government being able, or, well, the officials, I guess, of that court being able to handle everything rather than having to deal with various town governments. Because then we have to worry about the various sides, and I feel like it's more likely that fellas are going to be biased. I mean, if there's, say, a town with a lot of insurgency folks that we don't know about, I feel like, that court's probably going to be more biased, and it'll be a bit harder to prove. And I feel like it'll just be a mess trying to get a lot of, say, court cases overturned and retried. So why shouldn't it just be up to one kind of court system, one level, where they all go?
It'd be quite annoying to just retry all of that, to be honest.
With a world so unstable, and we don't have that many people in each of these towns just yet, so hell,
I wouldn't
don't...
necessarily say that population is really a big of an issue.
Well, I guess then
And
I'll rather say that it's
explain
more
why.
of... I guess I'll rather say more then that it's more of an issue of, I don't think most of the towns, except a very few, like, say, maybe Haven or something, is formed necessarily a government. There's just the leader of the town that kind of, establishes some rules. And, well, what are they gonna do? Act as the judge and jury?
Yeah, we had. I remember Phone was the jury, and even though he wasn't,
He wasn't
played
the jury.
fair.
He wasn't the jury. He was the
Or was it the
full-on
judge?
judge.
Oh yeah, the judge. Sorry, my bad. The
Back
judge.
then, when we had that trial, that dreaded trial that almost all of us remember,
Yeah.
we didn't have these kinds of systems. So unfortunately, anything ruled. Which is why we didn't want that kind of stuff to happen before we wanted to build a system like this. This is what me and Phone always wanted to do from the start. But unfortunately, circumstances didn't coincide, and well, that whole mess of a trial happened. And I guess you could say that really opened the eyes up for potential, which is why we formed the New World Order. But unfortunately, even that is kind of broken as well, which is why we're having this talk.
I think with these kinds of ideas, we can certainly put things in place so a trial like that never happens again.
Yeah.
Of course, I wouldn't want anybody to feel the same pain that I felt that day. Sorry.
It's quite alright.
You have a right to be angry, fella.
It's not that I'm angry. It's that I'm just confused. Has it ever occurred in your guys' minds that the fact that we have a rebellion is odd? I mean, look at what we're doing right now. We're trying to fix everything that we lost. And yet, there are some people that just don't believe in that. And that's kind of strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess so. But honestly, a lot of my thoughts on human behavior have been broken too.
It's as I said. We're in the dark days. It's only going to get worse until we fix things, so... Making a bunch of systems like this seems like a hassle, but it's exactly what the old world did, and I think it's exactly what we need to do now.
Well,
Up job.
Well, at least we got most of the things down, right?
I mean, we got down some good ideas, but what we've talked about so far doesn't cover, everything. Hell, there's a lot of sorts of laws and situations we'd have to cover. There's so many laws in the old world, Lord. I guess I was lucky I didn't have to memorize all of them. But
Try being me for a day.
yeah, no, I don't think I could do that there, fella. There's a reason I was an officer.
Maybe
A lot of stuff to memorize.
Yeah.
maybe we'll discuss more maybe tomorrow or another
I think
day.
we should take a break for now. We've discussed quite a lot of things. We should think on what we've discussed. We should think on new areas that we should cover. Oh, and getting back to that kind of adjusted Bill of Rights, whatever we end up calling it in the end. I think we should go out personally and talk to people. Those of us that can, We should go to towns. We should talk to the fellas, and we should see what they think is valuable to have protected in that kind of thing. Because if it's, protecting human rights, we should get to the people that these laws are meant to protect. We should ask them about it. And then once we've done a lot of asking, we can come back together and we can talk about it and formulate something.
It has been a while for me traveling to other people's places. Then again, I don't know half of the other people.
I mean,
Their areas are.
if we're going to be forming or trying to form laws that will affect people's lives, we should make sure we stay connected with the people that these laws will affect. And that'll keep us, I guess, I don't know if humble's quite the right word, but it'll keep what's important in mind, I feel.
Yeah, I would say so.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Then I
Alright.
guess we're in agreement. We're done for the day.
Would any of you like some drinks or snacks while you're?
You know what,
For-
sir?
Sure.
I've got a long walk ahead of me, so
Okay, I'll go see how Ernesto's be able to cook and give drinks. I'll be right back.
I'm glad to see you lot are doing alright, though, after everything that's been happening. Or at least, I suppose, as alright as y'all can be.
Yeah.
Well,
I kind
you
of got
gotta,
through everything.
well, you gotta plow through destruction to get the outcome that you want, or you deserve, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
One day these people will understand that they don't quite just know what they're trying to oppose. There
Well-
ain't a world without law and order, because a world without that is simply barbaric. That ain't a world I want to live in, that's for certain.
Oh, heck no. I finally got through all of that, like salvaging through my old inn and got everything of importance finally.
Did that have, like, all of your belongings in it or something?
It had a good majority
Thanks.
of my stuff that I hadn't had moved yet.
Thank you, Allie.
I
No
moved
problem.
a lot of my majority of my stuff, thankfully, beforehand, but there was still like pretty decent amount, and I did an inventory and there was stuff missing as well, so
Don't tell me that your clothes got burned.
a majority of them did.
Well,
This
the
is my
fire will do
spare-
that.
This is my spare outfit, so.
Lord.
Honestly,
So-
Miles, you gotta be one of the strongest bastards I think I've ever met in my life.
More like stubborn.
You get your whole entire place burned down, and somehow you still are in bright spirits. I like that about you.
Well, I mean, there's not really much I can do besides just, it happened,
Well,
missed
there
it
is
for
one
me.
thing you could do, and that's to rebuild. And this time, you make Dogeland something better, bigger, and, well, brighter. And I think I might just have an idea for you.
Oh, really?
You see, with the world in shambles, it seems like not a lot of people would want to try to sit down and read a book and enjoy themselves. So there's got to be another way we can do something. Well-
Something.
And well, with a lot of protection under our belt in the New World Order, I can assure construction on this kind of thing wouldn't necessarily be interfered. And well, if it did, then we know exactly what to do with our new sanctions. But I had this idea a long time ago. Well, it wasn't necessarily my idea, it was something that the villagers proposed to me. And boy, was it something that I didn't think that they would ever think about.
Oh.
You see, the villagers expressed that they're not exactly big on recreation, considering the fact that their circumstances never really coincide with recreation. So as soon as they saw us come around and saw us what we could make and, well, what we could do with our advancements, they came to me and they gave me an idea. An idea of a place where everybody can at least have some sort of smile put on their face. They have something to do, something to take their minds off things. And well, I kind of talked with a few people. And this idea would be a resort. A resort placed smack dab right in the middle of where your Dogeland Inn used to be. Not only would it be bigger and better, but it will be recreational and contain everything that a hotel would probably have. So, I guess you could say the Oasis in Dogeland would officially become a huge vacation resort.
Mm.
You see, there was a reason we had those things back in the day. People often wanted to escape their troubles, their work, their work habits, and even sometimes their personal problems. So we had amusement parks, we had casinos, we had all of them to take our edge off, I say. And well, we don't exactly have that around here. We need something like that. We need something recreational, something to help people at least keep their faith.
Like an entertainment type of thing?
Exactly.
Oh, that'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah, it definitely would be.
But what would it be? There's like so many choices.
Which is exactly why you can talk about it. I mean, there's no time left to lose, right? We're not in a rush. We have everything planned out. We're going to be talking again soon.
It's
That
true.
is true.
Yeah,
The imagination is all up to you. It is your land, after all. But whenever you're ready to discuss ideas on architecture and, well, construction, you know where to find me.
Yeah.
I'm always glad to help you.
Once I get ideas and everything and all that, I'll reach out to you and we can talk everything through.
Think about this, Miles. Don't think of it as just a place where you can actually have people be satisfied and entertained. But think of it as a message to those damn rebels that you're not going to stay down forever.
That is true. That's a good point.
If that isn't one of the biggest moves someone can make to prove to themselves that you're a man and you won't settle for their anarchy, then I don't know what will.
Well, I planned something to go back on there, so why not do this?
Precisely.
Yay, that's the spirit, Miles.
Gotta stay positive somehow.
Piece by piece, we're gonna put back together this world. And those rebels won't even be able to, well, they'll be forced to admit that we have something, well, something together. I mean, after all, they're protesting a system that can abuse them. They're saying that, it ain't just, it ain't right, but we're here, we're talking about putting together a system to protect fellas' rights. They don't fully know what they're protesting.
The insurgency is, well, broken, I'd say. I mean, after all, that's how almost all insurgencies are. They're irrational. Sometimes they cut each other's throats. And me and my sister, Yuki, have pretty much predicted that that's probably what they're doing right now. So while they're destroying themselves from the inside out, we're going to be building up things that we could never imagine ourselves to build. We don't destroy things, we build them. We're the creators, we're the artists of the canvas. And the earth is our palette. If that makes any sense.
It does.
It makes full sense. Creation
Imagine
and
it.
destruction.
Imagine it a few years from now, it'll look exactly how it was before. Skyscrapers that are as tall as the eye can see. Fields that stretch for miles that are full of grain that feed every single person. Except for us, we're the ones that handle that. We oversee everything. It's not a power play, it's more of watching it grow. It's like a plant. Think about this. The world as we know it vanished. Everything that was broken before, we could fix it. Together.
Someone
Just
has to
imagine
write.
that.
Someone has
Imagine
to write
that.
what the future will follow.
Exactly. And who knows, we might get further than we used to. I mean, we got the gods on our sides. We got a lot of other things. We have magical items, potions, alchemy. The future is definitely more brighter and more advanced than we could have ever imagined. And honestly, it would be an honor to stand next to all of you and watch as we built it together.
You talk
Think
well,
about
Justin.
that. Think about that for a second. I know I'm saying that a lot, but just imagine this painting right here. Just take a look at it. It's something that you would never imagine would exist, or that painting as well. It looks like something out of your dreams. You wish you could go there, but you can't, because it's fictional. But nowadays, it doesn't need to be. It could be reality. And well, once we get these rebels out of here, that painting might as well become a creation. I'd like to think of this as an opportunity. Granted, we don't know what happened, and we're still trying to find out. But honestly, it's like a canvas, and we're the artists. Look at me, I'm talking way too much.
It's fine. You have very wise words as always.
It's
Yeah,
I
hard.
mean, that's how I'd like to think about it.
It's hard not to think about that kind of stuff when we're pretty much, doing what founding fathers did.
Exactly. George Washington could have made the government system or anything he ever wanted in his own eye, but he went simplistic. That's what we know so far. He could have done anything. Sometimes simple is sometimes the best answer.
And now we're in that position.
Exactly. Which is why we need all hands on deck for this kind of stuff. Especially when it comes to, governmental systems, established laws, sanctions, and even all this courtroom talk. But I'm sure we'll get to talk about that more at another time.
Yes.
We should probably get
that
out
is
of this office before we go a bit crazy, eh?
Yeah.
It's even if it's a bigger room, it's still pretty tiny.
Even though I never asked for a bigger room to begin with.
Hey, I just built it that way, okay?
Sometimes you need a bigger space to expand your mind.
Yeah, I'm just not used to having that much big rooms. I've always so used to having mediums or small. Just this is a bit bigger than when I usually know or worked with.
I mean, it's not the old inn where we had, only 2 tiny floors, so...
Well,
Kinda
that
just
can
had to
change
know.
in the near future.
Well, I hope you guys have loved your drinks and food.
Yeah.
It was quite all right.
Our chef makes really good food.
Let's
even though he
agree
can be
to
annoying.
let's agree to give ourselves some time to think. I suppose since I arranged it last time, I'll send out a letter again after it's been a little bit. Call us all back together so we can discuss some more. That sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah, works for me.
Sounds right to me.
Alrighty then, I guess. The first official lawmaking sort of discussion is at a close.
Alrighty. I'll walk you guys to the doors or you're free to spend the time here. Up to you.
I gotta be
If you guys
heading.
traveled pretty far, then you feel free to stay in one of the rooms.
Lord, I gotta be getting back to Talon Peaks though. I got a lot of things that. Well, I do have dogs and animals too, and I don't quite got food laid out for them, so I can't be
Well-
letting them go hungry.
That's true, but if you feel like relaxing, there is a hot spring resort over there.
No, thank you. In any case, I'll be going. Take care, you lot. It was good seeing that you're at least doing alright.
Yeah.
Nice seeing you.
Goodbye, Sheriff Swanson.
Later,
Farewell.
Swanson.
Safe travels.
Well, as much as I'd love to stay.
Oh, that was a lot of jargon. Honestly, I was a little worried that I wouldn't be able to hold my own in a conversation like that, but I feel fairly confident that I at least held my own there. I'm sure with structure, the laws won't be broken like they have again. Well, at least the laws that should have been in place. I mean, surely with a system, they'll all understand, right? This doesn't necessarily have to go to war. So long as we amend systems and put them in place, we make sure that there's justice. It's not going to be that simple, I know. I know it's not, because people, when they're angry, that anger doesn't exactly go away easily. Even when the reason why they're angry is kind of removed, it still lingers and sticks around. That's kind of just the way grudges work. Sometimes people don't know what to do when they've lost the reason of their anger, so they just lash out. I'll admit, the insurgency does have a bit to go on. I know of the atrocities that have been committed. I'm still not happy with Justin or the Empress for what they did. I'm not happy with myself for the fact that I just stood there. I know it's what I had to do. But still. I know that karma comes to everyone eventually. I know that it will. I know that I'll get my due karma in time. I got a mighty big payout waiting to get me. And it'll also at some point reach Justin. It'll reach the Empress. I suppose that's why I still see them as my friends. Wait, hold on a second. Did one of y'all say that I'm like a cat? Hold on a second. Oh. Oh. Yeah, I suppose. I guess. I don't know, it's still weird to be compared to a cat a little bit. I mean, I suppose you're not wrong with your assertion. Cats don't like water. I don't like water either, but... Oh Lord, you lot in my head are kind of funky. You were honestly a little bit quiet when we were discussing laws. I was a little concerned. Hope that wasn't too boring for you fellas. I didn't exactly have much choice, to be honest. These discussions gotta happen. Also, apologize, out of character for a second. Apologies for the background noise that's happened in my background. My parents are probably cooking and also watching TV. And that kind of stuff. So, like, My family's pretty cool. Back in character, though. That oasis there is a little... It's odd to me. Considering that, well, I mean, it's an oasis, it's near water. It's a really weird place, I guess, to frequent. I don't know quite how I fully feel about it, but... In any case, I'll be getting myself back to Talon Peaks. God, this is gonna be quite a long walk, ain't it? And alright, folks, that is where I will be ending it. Sorry if my accent was a little funky. I don't know if I hydrated enough. It felt like my accent was funky. It might have not been. Who knows? In any case, thank y'all. Thank y'all for viewing. Thank y'all for watching. I hope today wasn't too boring for y'all. It was a lot of talking, I know, about, like, laws and applications. I know, guys. I'm sorry. I should be having probably, I think, a Mythos stream on Monday, so watch out for that. Yeah. Thank y'all. I have working on Cat Sheriff. I guess I'll look forward to that, cheese. I always love the art things that y'all make. Thank y'all. Anyway, I hope y'all have a good rest of your... Oh god, that's a skeleton. Sorry. Hold on, let me not die in Minecraft real quick. Anyway. Anyway, it's all good. I hope y'all have a good rest of your day, morning, you know, afternoon, night, whatever time it is for y'all. As always, take care, folks.